It's time for Friday Fabulous Florida.
There is a gigantic alligator in my kitchen.
A look at the weirdest stories from our weirdest state.
It was a chase in the rain near Daytona Beach, Florida, left deputies stunned. They said it might be the slowest chase in our history. The suspect moving so slowly that troopers were noting the speed in single digits.
There's never been anything like this.
They said this has got to be one of the slowest pursuits I've seen in my career. The sheriff was making the point that the person they were pursuing was going 1, 2, or maybe 3 miles an hour, is what the sheriff said. How
is it not hard to block someone in if they're doing that?
Guys, why are you pursuing him? Why don't you just pull in front of him and that's the end?
Right. Yeah.
You can run him down. Like,
you could. You could literally get out of the car and just run him down. Thank you. Deputies said that 33-year-old Kyle McNary kicked the victim out when they pulled over to swap places in the car. Then there he is. McNary allegedly hit another car and then drove off while leaving the victim, who he kicked out of the car, on the side of the road. We do a thing on this show where we would just quickly rate everybody's booking photo. It has to be a booking photo. There is Kyle. What do you give him?
He's not a bad-looking guy. His eyes are a little beady.
He's having a bad day for sure. Yeah.
I'll give him a 6.5.
All right, 6.5. Getting around 7s on the chat. Deputies responding gave chase. They didn't have to go very fast to catch him. McNary refused to drive faster than 15 or 20 miles an hour. In a bizarre attempt to flee from police, McNary continued the low-speed chase, refusing to pull over or even, as deputies caught up to him, in any way acknowledge them. We do appreciate that he wasn't driving recklessly, said the deputies. And eventually, McNary did pull over and was arrested. He faces multiple charges, including fleeing from police and leaving the scene of a crash.
I'm bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Why, that's the safest police chase I've ever seen.
That's exactly it.
Plenty of time for people to get out of the way. That's a conscientious criminal right there.
It's hard to find places to get rest. I don't know about you, but I have trouble getting a full night's sleep. I oftentimes will pull over and just close my eyes for a little while. It's sometimes the only peace I get. And so in that spirit, we go to Fort Myers, Florida, where a Cape Coral man is arrested for sleeping on the roof of a Fort Myers Walmart was the answer that you would, He was sleeping on a Walmart roof. Daniel Ray Rios, he's 30 years old. There he is in the Lee County Sheriff's Office looking awake.
He's very awake.
What would you, he's had a good rest there at the Walmart. What would you say for his booking photo?
He has the look of someone who's been awake a long time, hopped up on all kinds of drugs.
Oh, how dare you say that? I think he looks great. He looks fresh-faced and ready for his first job interview, I think.
Yeah. I think just in the spirit of this being a booking photo, I'm going to give it an 8.
I agree. Yeah. I think he looks good. Yeah, everybody's giving him low scores. How dare you? Oh, Heather Kennedy gave him an 8. Okay, Teacher Lori with a 7.5.
Yeah. I mean, he's got
that. John Slade's got it right. He's giving him a 7. He says he's got that who me look. Who me?
Yeah, he looked like he was looking at the other side of the room. They called him over just to take the photo.
That's a great pull. Yeah, that's exactly right. And so it goes. Well, this is an insane story. We've been sitting on this one hour by hour, wanting to share it with you. A Florida doctor's medical license suspended because of an incredible turn of events. It was an emergency suspension of a doctor's medical license. Why would you, with urgency, suspend a medical license of a doctor of osteopathic medicine?
Is he killing people?
Well, pretty much, yes. He removed the wrong organ during surgery for William Bryan, and William Bryan died.
Oh, no.
It started on August 18th. Bryan was 70, went to the hospital complaining of stomach pain. Eventually, it was determined that he had an enlarged spleen. The doctor suggested that he be treated via surgery. Initially, Bryan refused the surgery. In fact, for 3 days, he said, I don't want to go under the knife. But the doctor scheduled it finally because he said the pain was just too great for him to deal with. And they scheduled a laparoscopic splenectomy. So they're taking the spleen out laparoscopically. Now, you can explain laparoscopic surgery, Albert, because you're the closest thing to a doctor that we have here.
Google it.
All right. Well, maybe you want to Google it and explain it. But anyway, it's supposed to be a less invasive method of surgery, isn't it, Albert?
That's correct. And Michael Shore is here. I just want to let you know.
Okay, thank you. I'll get to Michael Shore in just a moment. Maybe Michael is listening in and he's probably jotting down a lot of these details because he loves this segment and only wishes that he could participate. But he can't because he's in the green room. All right, you want to bring Michael Shore in? Is that what you're saying? All right.
I do.
Michael,
I think that would be fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank God. Thank God.
Kim always wants to bring you in anywhere. She has a
Right.
mad Michael crush on you.
Bring
All
in
right.
Michael Shore.
Anyway, can I get back to this guy? He's in the OR, and they're going to do this laparoscopic splenectomy, take out his spleen. And the hospital staff was concerned because they had a skeleton crew around at that time. And the crew questioned the ability of the doctor to perform this procedure.
Yikes.
Once the surgery started, the doctor converted the laparoscopic procedure to an open surgery because of poor visibility in the operating room. The doctor, Shagnovsky, said that he saw the spleen in because it had ruptured, and that when he saw this aneurysm that spontaneously caused the rupture of the spleen, the patient, Bryan, his vitals plummeted, a code was called, and supposedly the doctor gained control, stabilized the patient, and removed the spleen. But that's not true, according to the court case and the way that events are being recounted by staff. Everything was more troublesome than the doctor claimed. And this emergency order, again, the order to pull the doctor's license, specifies that the doctor, Shagnovsky, thought that Bryan's liver was the spleen.
I don't think you can live without a liver. That's true, right?
Exactly.
You can't. That's not a
Exactly.
survivable organ to remove.
Yeah.
You can
Right, but
transplant it.
It was only one away.
You think
was
they acted
really
too
close.
quickly. Right. Hey, guys, come on. Give me a mulligan. I mean, at least this is a... the idea somehow, apparently he returned to the operating room 3 times during this entire process, insisting that the patient had this artery aneurysm in the spleen. But what they're saying is, no, dude, you took out the liver instead of the spleen, and you don't know what you're doing.
It was wrong, it was stupid, and I'm trying to be a better person.
Yeah.
No.
So he's denied wrongdoing, but clearly the medical board there, and medical boards are loath to yank licenses. They did this in a hurry, and he's had his medical license removed like that guy's liver was removed. Good day, sir. But,
Forever, or is that a temporary situation?
Oh,
'Cause-
I'd be very surprised if he can get it back.
Yeah. It's over for you.
Yeah. And finally, I believe it was this guy who, I remember Tony really loved this in the Hurricane Helene story. And look, there's so many horrible stories out of there, but this is the Florida guy whose house is filling with water as a result of the floodwaters. And he takes to a kayak in his living room to get around his house. This is it. He rode out the hurricane in the kayak there. You see a picture of it now. He's got a kayak he's on the phone, and he's literally in swim trunks, and he's in the kayak. There, is that the guy? I guess it is.
Yeah,
Matthew Heller. Yeah. So the waters have receded a bit, and so he's likely stowed the kayak, but you can see that Kayak Man is now famous for his kayak movements around his living room. And with that, we must pick a favorite. I'll remind you, we have the Florida man facing charges following the low-speed chase in Flagler County. The Florida man arrested for sleeping on the Walmart roof. The doctor who took out the liver instead of the spleen. And the kayaking living room dweller. I don't want to pick a favorite, but it's in the bylaws of the show that we must. So I ask you, Kim, what's your favorite, please?
Since I voted for
Kim, how are you?
Since I voted for Kayak Guy last week, I'm gonna vote for our doctor.
No?
Yeah, a
Yeah,
shocking
doctor.
turn of events that he's now no longer a doctor. Yeah, that's my vote.
Michael, you're a guest here at the end. You're allowed to pick a favorite.
Well, you know, in fairness, I did not meet Bachelor number 1. I owned the green room for 2, 3, and 4. Of those, I mean, the doctor doesn't seem terribly Floridian, though what happened was pretty Floridian. The kayak guy, having a kayak in your living room in the first place, like he had a kayak in the house. I think that's pretty interesting. But I think sleeping on the Walmart roof to me is as a guest only. I'm not an expert.
No,
like
I think your opinion. Yeah, your opinions are
very
a good one.
Floridian, and I don't know what the first guy did.
Yeah, the first guy was a slow speed chase, just so you know, but it was like literally going from 1 to 3 miles an hour to evade cops, and it went on forever. But yeah, I like that you evaluate in terms of Florida. That is to say, what's most consistent with the profile of the segment and being a Floridian and being a Florida-related story. So I like that. Albert, do you have a favorite, please?
I like the low speed chase. It's just a wild headline. Just low speed chase is very fun to look at. Also, the chat loves the Oregon Oopsie, and then by love, it's just slightly above the living room kayak.
Okay, living room kayak and Oregon Oopsie. I love that you call it Oregon Oopsie. All right,
Oopsie.
Albert with the
Oopsies
cute
killed
Friday
someone.
Fabulous Florida titles every week. I would pick for my favorite the dude sleeping on the Walmart roof. I just think that that's perfect, and it's so, as perhaps noted by Michael as well, it's very Florida. Thanks, everybody. Please mention, if you're watching in delay, what your favorite is. We do read all the comments and favorites, and it lets us, the commissioner, retool the segment so it conforms with those things that you enjoy. That's Friday Fabulous Florida for today.
This has been Friday Fabulous Florida.
There is a gigantic alligator in my kitchen.
Y'all come back now here.
Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.